Hey everyone, I made a video yesterday talking about how orders are gonna be staple parts of overdressed standard decks, and they literally just revealed a deck today built around orders, right? This deck requires orders. The new Grand Blue, what we think is Grand Blue, is now like order deck Grand Blue. So we're gonna start off the cool stuff today and jump into Stoicheia Grand Blue, you know, green Grand Blue, and then get to the more boring stuff later on. But yeah, let's jump right into it. All right, so first, Rancor Chain Grade 1, act Vanguard Circle once per turn, Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards, choose up to 1 order card from your hand and discard it. And if you did not discard, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard. So if you have an order, this is basically like a trade-in, right? But if you don't have an order card, you basically still draw 2, but you discard 2. And for something like Grand Blue, even in Premium, when you think about it this way, discarding 2 is not bad. You're drawing 2 and you get into 2. The 2 in your drop zone becomes fuel for later on, you know? So it's cool. If you played an order this turn as well, this unit gets power 2k. So that's a rearguard continuous effect. Basically, yeah, you're gonna be playing orders every turn just to get power. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. All right, look at him. This is some cigar. This is a common from the booster pack. We're out of the start deck range now. We're into the actual booster pack, and they said they're gonna have 2 archetypes after like booster pack 1 is revealed. Every nation is gonna have 2 archetypes. We're gonna have 10 decks. And remember, these cards can technically be meshed together with your start deck, so you can kind of combine hybrid decks as well, and that could open up a huge amount of possibilities. But that is just the first card. Let's move on to the next one. We have Black Tears Husk Dragon. Auto, when this unit is placed on the Vanguard circle, choose up to 1 normal order from your drop and put it into your hand. So ideally, again, ride deck target, you just ride this, bam, get that order that you discarded before, put it back into your hand, and call it on the rearguard circle. If you play an order this turn, this gets power 5k. So this is the power card, right? Getting 15k, boom, pretty nice. Would they like that grade 1 boost? 25, that's a pretty good number, especially if you're going first. So yeah, this is great. Again, the art is really good. It's weird seeing the green on this card. This should be the dark blue, right? But we're seeing the green. Yeah, it's mind-blowing. Next, they revealed this order. It's called Spiritual Body Condensation. Now, this reminds me of those Chinese manhwa, those really bad ones, where they're sitting around talking about cultivating. But this is not about cultivating. This is actually a really good card. All right, play this with cost Soul Blast 1. Choose a card with grade equal to or less than your Vanguard from your drop, call it to the rearguard circle, and it gets power 5k until the end of turn. So pretty good. If you didn't discard an order for your grade 1, you've basically allowed yourself to play this card, play a card out and get 5k. Also, you know what? When you ride deck, you have to discard. It sets you up for this card as well. So lots of synergy there. It seems pretty good. But that's not all, right? Because this is an order-based deck. Let's see the next order. This is called Grief, Despair, and Rejection. This is what happens when you fail your final exam, all right? And then you get rejected from your job application, and also when you confess to your girl and she says no, right? This is basically what you become. You become this guy. I mean, the art, I mean, you look cool, right? Yeah, at least you look cool, but you look pretty bony, you look pretty dejected, but at least you have an okay effect, right? So Counterblast 1, if your Vanguard is Mysterious Rain Spiritualist Zorga, choose 3 of your units and they get plus 10k until end of turn. So it's like 10k for each of the things that you feel. 10k for the grief, 10k for the despair, and 10k for that rejection. Bam, your front row is just full of your hatred, and time to just smack your opponent like, I don't know, I would say a truck, but he doesn't look like a truck. He looks like, he just looks very angry, right? Very angry. And then lastly, the last Stoicheia card for the day, Mysterious Rain Spiritualist Zorga. Con, Vanguard Circle. When you would play a normal order, you can bind a normal order with a different card name from your drop and Alchemagic. Combine the costs and add the effects to the back. All right, so yeah, with an exclamation mark. So that's, I had to say it that way. So this is insane. Remember, you can only play 1 order a turn. And since your deck is focused around orders, you want to play more orders than just once per turn. And this allows you to do that because it just combines your orders together into 1. So right now, we're pretty limited in what we can choose, right? Because the orders they revealed so far are just Grief Time, Sag Times, right? And the Monster Reborn, the cultivation. But now you can, when they reveal more orders, you can start combining more of it. Maybe in the future, your deck will just be a ride deck plus a billion orders. I mean, you won't have much guard, but I mean, who cares about 5k guards, right? But yeah, in the future, if you're running a Zorga deck and you'll always be able to go into this card as your ride because of the ride deck, you will just have a deck that could be focused around orders, and it's only going to get better and better. But right now, we're kind of stuck on these 2 orders because it has to be normal orders. But yeah, no, this is really cool. You combine your cultivation and your Sag order, and you have 10k to the front, a Monster Reborn, and plus 5k. Pretty good. Second effect is also just once per turn, cost counterblast 1, choose a card from your drop zone and call to the rearguard circle. So it's basically getting back some of these cards that synergize with your orders and make it so that your field looks nice, right? Your field looks nice. So lots of cool synergy there. And the problem is here, though, is that you do have to play the order from your hand, apart from your grade 2, which lets you salvage an order when you ride it. Otherwise, you're just looking for other ways to get those orders back. But I assume that there's still a lot of slots in the booster pack that will probably flesh out the rest of your deck to get these orders back. So yeah, I think this card is really amazing. The fact that they're adding Alchemagic just shows, like, on the first booster pack, right, is just showing that they're thinking really creatively. I'm getting that, like, we thought Clan Selection 1 and 2 had some really creative vibes. Everything so far from what they've seen is pretty darn creative, right? Alchemagic, wow, sick, all right? So I have to say, man, looking to Stoichea is looking pretty good. Now, that's just one of the clans, though. Remember, we have 4 other clans that are supposed to play differently with what they've shown in the start decks. So yeah, Brandgate, we've seen Link Joker stuff. Dark Zone, we haven't seen anything, but we'll see it later. The only thing we haven't really seen is like Dragon Empire. We've seen Virina Valiente, right? But there has to be a different play. Also, yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, here they talk about how Alchemagic works when 2 order cards become 1. When a normal order is played, you bind a normal order from a drop, and then they basically, you know, combine together. Like that, the pen and pineapple thing. Bam. Good stuff. Here are some Q&As. When Zorga's on the field, can you know? Because Alchemagic is just part of the skill of Zorga. Alchemagic will be regarded as playing order card twice. No, because you're combining the orders. Very simple stuff there. And then the last one is, how does the actual culmination work? The process. And this is actually kind of important. So you have to specify that you're playing a normal order from your hand. Yes, that's cool. At that moment, you bind the normal card from your drop. Then you pay both of the costs at the same time, but you resolve the effects based on what you play from your hand first, and then the bound order. So if you play rejection first, and you know, you don't have 3 units on the field, then you miss out on a 10k. So that's kind of important. Make sure you have those 3 cards, because if you like ideally you do this one first to call a card out, and then you get the 3 10ks. But if you do it the other way, yes, you have to make sure that there's actually cards that you can give 10ks to. So pretty important there. Here we have the new Sentinels. Pretty cool. Let me tell you something, guys. We were worrying about defensive cards, defensive Sentinels. Well, not defensive Sentinel, but defensive power. This is technically a buff to defense in standard, right? In overdress standard. But I wouldn't really discount it. So let's read the effect first. So Sentinel, you can only have 4 cards of Sentinel, pretty seven. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until the end of that battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So there is no cost associated with the Sentinel anymore. It is part of the effect. And basically, if you play the Sentinel with only 2 cards in your hand, it is free. It is free. You don't have to discard anything more. Here's the thing, though, with this card, is that because this effect, like, because there's no cost anymore, the cost is now part of the effect, right? When you play this is actually mandatory. So if you're against something like a battle door effect, where they make you just like call 2 cards or 3 cards at the same time, sometimes before you wanted to call Sentinels out as just part of the part of like the amount, right? So you call a Sentinel and then like a 30k guard. Now you will be forced to actually discard a card if you have more cards in your hand. So if they go with that route, that kind of a guard restrict route, be careful. If you're in premium and you play this card, be careful on that effect too. So it's not part of the cost. You can't just play it out for free, technically. Right. Other than that, Sentinels are now rares in the booster pack, so there's a downgrade in rarity. If you thought it was a double R, too bad, guys. It is cheaper. It is more available. That means the double R slots are now for good cards that you might need, but you know, everyone needs Sentinels, and it now made it way more accessible, which is a great change. Other thing is also that they're now grade 1s and 6Ks, so they went back to the old route. They're taking up grade 1 slots, but at the same time, that could be okay. That could be okay, because you have a Rye deck now. You're not so reliant on, you know, having to stuff your deck full of grade 1. You can probably run grade 1 Sentinels and not feel too bad. I mean, people wanted grade 0 Sentinels. They wanted draw trigger Sentinels, and I'll be honest, they could still put it in. It could be something in the future. Remember, we had different versions of Sentinels in Vanguard over X years, right? And this is just another version of it. We might be starting out with this kind of version, and we have the normal version of Sentinels in probably the start decks, but there is probably more chance in the future that they print out different kind of Sentinels, right? So I think this is a great start for Overdress. Kind of cool. But there is more possibility in the future for more work. Moving on, they've shown us all the arts for every single Sentinel, and keep in mind, they are all dragons, right? So this guy is Twin Buckler Dragon, so it looks like he's from Narukami. This guy is Dark States, it's Recusal Hate Dragon. He's got the purple going on. We've got Violate Dragon. This one's I really like the Brankgate one, right? It looks like Blue Eyes, but it's got laser shields. It's got force fields, right? Looks pretty cool. Killer Sanctuary has Aegis Mare Dragon, so Mare is like a kind of horse, so maybe this one's a unicorn instead. But I don't know what's going. I think it looks like a horse actually. Sorry, this might not be a dragon. There's like a weird horse going on here. I personally don't like this one as much, just because I don't really see the art going on here. It's not as cool looking as the other ones. This is just a bunch of white pictures thrown together. And then lastly, we've got Prana Prepentant Dragon. We'll have to look that one up, but I think this is nice. It's got some nice colors going, and yeah, Stoical so far looking very good. Moving on, we have some anime stuff. So this is kind of the boring things. I thought they basically showed us a bunch of like look at this. It's just a merry-go-round. People have been saying this looks like the table that they play on, and they specifically showed us the table. Keep in mind, this is a clamp table. We talked about this. We all know what happens with clamp tables, but this one is round, so no edges, no corners. Well, I mean, there is, I think it's one edge because it's a circle, but no corners. The corners are the most important part. And then lastly, next week, we have some more reveals. They're going to show us 2 decks. We're going to show us Dark States and Keter Sanctuary. And this one is actually really cool. So this Baromagnus is the Dark State one. This kind of looks like could be a Dark Irregulus. Dark Irregulus has those like kind of, you know, alchemist kind of thing. You know, the new stride they got from Premium Collection. It's kind of like that, but with bricks. But this one is looking excellent. This is Hexa Orb Sorceress. Ooh. So we've got, this is kind of OTT, right? Remember the Magus? The pentagonal Magus, hexagonal Magus? But this is like combined, maybe with like a witch, but now they're called sorceresses. Maybe you combine a witch and a mage, they become a sorceress. So I don't know, the art looks really, really cool. And it's a departure from knights. You know, it's a departure from knights. So I can't wait to see how this one goes. I want to see what new effects they get. You know, so I think it's going to be really cool. So far, Overdress has been looking really excellent, and I'm really happy. This is good times. Good times. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, guys. This week has been excellent. Excellent reveals, like 10 out of 10 for me, even though it's just Stoicheia, you know, so yeah. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.